Welcome to the DV Showcase. Tonight we continue our mission of helping support original music in the Delaware Valley and beyond with our three-step process. Listen, experience, and pass on original music. But we need your help to get the word out. So let's get started. Tonight's artist has been in the original music scene for over 25 years in the greater Philadelphia area. He is a songwriter, musician, and promoter. He has a multitude of projects, and tonight he's singing songs from some of those projects. Let's meet Tom Lugo here on the DV Showcase. Risk Manager Chuck here, and I want to tell you about two very important passions of mine. The first is helping you protect what is most important to you. The second is helping support original music, and sometimes the two overlap. Did you know that your musical instruments and equipment might only be covered on your homeowner's policy at a fraction of what they're worth? If you give me a call today, I can help you find the best coverage at the best price for your instruments and everything else that's important to you. Grassroots supports original music and understand how it's hard to pursue a dream. They have since 1975. It's a family-owned specialty gift shop located at 93 East Main Street in Newark, Delaware. Or you can call them at 302-453-9751 or shop online at grassrootsonlineshopping.com or like them on Facebook at Grassroots Shop. So now we got a taste of his music. Let's find out more about him in the interview.
So my name is Tom Lugo. I'm a musician based out of the southwest suburbs of Philadelphia. Actually Latin American, so I actually started my music career out in Latin America. Fell in love with music when I was a kid. I've been singing since I was like 5, 6. That's what really started in church. So my mom used to bring me to church, and I used to like to sing. I used to like to be up on the pulpit singing to the people, and kind of fell in love with it from there. Of course, things changed when I turned a teenager, started listening to other types of music and that sort of thing, and I don't think they would appreciate what I do right now in church, but hey, here we are. I think the pandemic, how it hit musicians especially, we had two different sort of groups. I could say we can lump most of the musicians, so they're both on two sides, right? You have the side they use this from a creative perspective. They started, writing new things and looking at things from a different perspective, and then you have the side that started to, really, focus on the negative side of it and the loss, because a lot of musicians, I have a lot of artists that are friends of mine, which actually are trying to make a living off of this. So no touring revenue, no merch sales, as well as not being able to perform, which is what they like to do. So I know that impacted them negatively. From my perspective, however, I just took the time to refocus. Initially, it did, kind of affect me negatively, because my band Stellar Scope had an album that was being launched. We were bringing in a band from New Zealand was playing with us. We had this whole thing set up at the Great Room up in Manayunk, and it just kind of fell through the cracks. So that was kind of hard, because album coming out and then everything just halted. So sales with the album didn't happen. We've been sitting on them, really, all these CDs, And now finally people are starting to, buy things, and, kind of, things are moving forward. But outside of that, I took that time to really take a step back and refocus my energies in terms of what was it that I wanted to do musically. And since I'm involved in so many different projects, and each project is slightly different from each other, how was it that I was going to take this time? Because I now had more time, right? I'm not playing out, not going to as many shows, because shows are not happening, which I love to do. I like to go see other bands play and perform. So when all of that was happening, it kind of gave me more time to refocus my energy on the songwriting process. The end result of all of that has been that I have about 8 albums worth of material with the different projects now coming out. I literally just had an album come out last week with Cielo Oceano, which is a project that I have with another Puerto Rican musician, which I met a couple of years ago on one of the festivals I put down in Puerto Rico back in 2007. His name is Andres Lugo. He shares the same surname as I do, but we're not related. We're maybe long distance cousins from somewhere on that bloodline. But so we just released an album. So that was taking a unique approach, because we did our debut album last year. So we wanted to look at things because it was pretty well received. I mean, we got even the Big Takeover magazine, which is a nationally distributed magazine, did a great review on it. So we needed to come back with, kind of like a better version of what we did the first time around. So gotta say, it did happen. So we had actually the Big Takeover magazine actually did the premiere of the album because they loved it so much. So it's kind of cool when you go into this national website and boom, the first thing that shows up is a picture of you and one of your best friends in the front, announcing that album. And on top of that, then in March I released another Panaphonic album, which actually would be the 22nd album that I've released under that particular project. I have an album coming out with Heliocentric Overdrive, and that's a project that I literally started during the pandemic with somebody that I met on one of the Philadelphia DIY pages, because he was doing this wicked breakbeat drumming and he was bored because he's stuck at home. I reached out to him. I said, hey, just send me some drum tracks. I'd like to check out what I can do with them. So took all of these bits and pieces and made these killer tracks. So we've had 2 songs already, 2 singles that came out. So we have hopefully an album coming out in the next couple of months. Got a new Stellar Scope album coming out. So again, we right before our studio went up in flames in August, we already had another album with the material recorded, so I've been working on that. So as you can tell, there is just a bunch of different things happening when it comes to the creative process. Fire, time to have some fun. So let's say Stellar Scope has more of a kind of classic rock backdrop to it. The drumming, the bass lines are more complex and elaborate in that sense. The songwriting style goes from anywhere from a post-punk, punk sort of sound to some elements of grunge, but it has this psychedelic undertone to it, because before people used to consider it like shoegaze, though it's not shoegaze what we do. Shoegaze is a term for a British style of music that came out back in the late 80s, early 90s, around the same time that grunge came out here. It was very popular out in Europe, but never really kind of crossed over, but now it's kind of making that crossover. There's a lot more bands influenced by that scene. So Panaphonic Pentaphonic is more electronic based, more ethereal in sound and approach, but the songwriting is more pop oriented completely. It's just pop oriented music, kind of engulfed in like this massive wall of sound. So the beats are more hip hop oriented, more kind of dance beats, if you would. And the guitars, again, very ethereal, so you got to think like Brian Eno, but with some crunch in there as well. So let's see, Heliocentric Overdrive. That's it's a breakbeat, really, kind of project. So breakbeat is a style of EDM, so old dance music. However, that is on the drum side. What's happening on the composition side, it's all very kind of pop oriented with a little bit of hints of like alternative rock. Let's see, Cielo Oceano. Cielo Oceano is really a dream pop shoegaze project. Some elements of indie pop here and there. Mayu, which is a project that I have with Gardy Perez from Puerto Rico. He is in the band Real, which is a shoegaze band in Puerto Rico. That particular project is also dream pop oriented. It's very kind of ambient based, if you would. It has this ambient kind of feel to it. Dreams Turn Black is a kind of black metal project that I have as well with the guy from England. And let's see, Under the Wire. Now that was an interesting project that I had, and even though my friend Jason Ellis, who's one of the producers behind that project and one of the musicians, he passed last year during the pandemic. But we had all this material, so we're going to be releasing that material as well. I am going to be releasing that material as well, and all of the funds are going to be going over to help his daughter.
Chances, look how
Grassroots supports original music and understand how it's hard to pursue a dream. They have since 1975. It's a family-owned specialty gift shop located at 93 East Main Street in Newark, Delaware. Or you can call them at 302-453-9751 or shop online at grassrootsonlineshopping.com or like them on Facebook at Grassroots Shop. Risk Manager Chuck here, and I wanted to tell you about two very important passions of mine. The first is helping you protect what is most important to you. The second is helping support original music, and sometimes the two overlap. Did you know that your musical instruments and equipment might only be covered on your homeowner's policy at a fraction of what they're worth? If you give me a call today, I can help you find the best coverage at the best price for your instruments and everything else that's important to you.